My beloved child, God is allowing you to see something that your heart has been trying to understand for a long time. There is a reason this man loves you deeply, sincerely, and unmistakably, yet another woman still appears in his life like a shadow he hasn't completely left behind. You've been wondering why someone who feels so drawn to you, so connected to you, so spiritually aligned with you could still allow another presence to linger around him. But God is whispering that what you're witnessing is not a threat to your worth, it's a revelation of what's happening inside his heart, what's happening inside yours, and what God is preparing between the two of you. There are moments when you feel his love clearly. The way he speaks to you, the way he looks at you, the way his energy softens around you, those are not illusions. Those are not your imagination running wild. They are real. He feels something for you that he can't deny, even if he tries. It's deep. It's honest. It's rare. He doesn't love lightly, and he certainly doesn't connect easily. Something in you awakened a part of him he thought was buried under disappointment, past hurts, and emotional confusion. His soul recognizes yours, but then there is the other side, the part that hurts you. The part that feels uncertain. The presence of another woman who seems to stay connected to him, lingering in the background. Sometimes she appears suddenly. Sometimes subtly, sometimes only through traces of communication, attention, or habit he hasn't fully let go of. You feel it. And it bothers you not because you're insecure, but because your spirit is discerning something he hasn't confronted in himself. God wants you to understand this clearly. Her presence does not mean he doesn't care for you. Her presence reveals the wounds he still has, the confusion he still battles, and the emotional ties he hasn't yet healed from. He is caught between the love he feels now and the past he hasn't closed properly. Not every lingering person is a chosen person. Sometimes they are unhealed attachments, guilt connections, emotional familiarity, or simply remnants of a chapter that hasn't been sealed with closure. He is not choosing her over you, but he also hasn't fully chosen himself. That is what God is exposing, and God is saying to you right now, do not misinterpret this. Do not assume her presence means you are losing. Do not assume her shadow means you are less loved. God is revealing this situation because it affects your heart, your peace, your clarity, and your future. He doesn't want you building your emotional world on uncertainty. He doesn't want you carrying fear. He doesn't want you clinging to someone who hasn't yet dealt with the truth inside him. So he is showing you the gap, the unhealed place in him, not to discourage you, but to prepare you. You need to understand how deeply your presence impacts him. You moved him in ways she never did. You awakened something in him that she couldn't reach. You inspired growth, desire, change, reflection, things he quietly battles with when he's alone. She is a pattern. You are a shift. She is familiar. You are transformation. She is past. You are promise, but transformation is rarely clean. Promise rarely arrives without conflict. Growth rarely happens without resistance from the old version of oneself. He is standing in the doorway of becoming the man he knows he should be, but he's still glancing back at the version of himself he used to be. And that version included her. Not because she's right for him, but because that's the place where he once hid his fears, his loneliness, and his need for temporary comfort. God is saying that this season is not about competing with another woman. It's not about proving yourself. It's not about forcing clarity. It's about learning what you deserve and watching how he handles the truth that God is putting in front of him. Because the truth is this: he can't move forward with you until he chooses to grow past what keeps him tied to the past. He can't fully step into love with you while leaning on someone who represents an old version of his heart. He can't build something meaningful with you while keeping emotional doors half open behind him. And God sees your patience. He sees your confusion. He sees the way you've tried to trust, tried to give grace, tried to understand, tried to stay loyal to the feeling you have for him. You're not weak for caring. You're not foolish for loving. You're not naive for hoping. You are simply connected to someone whose heart is in transition. And transitions are messy. You're not imagining his love. You're not imagining his pull toward you. You're not imagining the divine significance of this connection. But God is insisting that the truth must rise before love can settle. The truth about his intentions. The truth about his past. The truth about where he stands. And the truth about what he is willing to choose. God is also asking you not to shrink yourself in fear of losing him. You are not supposed to chase. You are not supposed to compete. You are not supposed to prove anything. What is meant for you will not require a battle of insecurity, it will require alignment. And God is aligning you, your mind, your spirit, your heart, your standards, so you will not settle for emotional halfway when God intends to give you something whole. You must understand, a man who truly loves you will move toward peace, not confusion. A man who truly chooses you will choose silence from the past over mixed signals from old attachments. A man who truly values you will create boundaries, not excuses. And God is watching how he handles this season. Not because God wants to punish him or test him, but because God wants to reveal the truth of his heart to you, so that when you make your next emotional choice, you do it with clarity and not with hope alone. This situation is not happening to hurt you. It is happening to show you who he is becoming, and whether the man he is becoming is capable of loving you the way your soul needs. God is also whispering something you might not want to admit: you have grown. You are not the person you once were. The old you might have tolerated confusion, mixed signals, emotional triangles, half-present love. But the version you are becoming, the one God has been shaping through every heartbreak and every prayer, cannot thrive in that kind of environment anymore. Your spirit outgrew what your heart once tolerated, and he senses that. That's why he feels urgency around you, even if he doesn't speak it. That's why he feels pressure to choose the right thing, even if he hasn't fully done it yet. That's why he feels drawn toward you and pulled back by the life he hasn't completely walked away from. You are not the problem. You are the awakening. God wants you to stay in wisdom right now. Observe without assuming. Listen without overthinking. Feel without forcing. Let him reveal his true character through his actions, not his words. And trust that the presence of the other woman is not a sign of defeat, it's a sign that God is exposing everything that doesn't belong in your future. What is meant for you will choose you with both hands, both eyes open, and no lingering shadows. Let God finish the revelation. Let him show you the truth. Let him separate what is temporary from what is divine. And when the clarity comes, because it will, you will not question your worth. You will not question God's timing. You will not question your future. You will finally understand why this situation had to unfold exactly the way it did, to reveal love, expose truth, and guide you toward the destiny God prepared for you long before this man ever entered your life. There is something God is preparing in your heart that goes far beyond this situation. You've been feeling a shift, an inner stirring, a quiet pull that you can't fully put into words. It's like a part of you already knows that things are changing, not just in him, but in you. Your spirit feels the transformation even before your mind understands it. That's why certain things that once felt tolerable now feel heavy. That's why certain behaviors that used to confuse you now feel unacceptable. That's why your heart reacts so strongly to the smallest signs of inconsistency, dishonesty, or divided loyalty. It's not insecurity. It's spiritual sensitivity. God is increasing your discernment. He is sharpening your ability to see truth. He is raising your standards without you even trying. And because of that, anything that is not aligned with your new spiritual level feels uncomfortable, unsettling, even painful. You're not being dramatic, you're being awakened. When God elevates you, he removes your tolerance for emotional chaos. When he strengthens you, he decreases your appetite for confusion. When he prepares you for real love, he exposes everything that is not real, and that is exactly what is happening with him. You're seeing the truth of who he is becoming, not who he pretends to be, not who he temporarily shows, not who he hides behind habits or excuses. You're seeing his true direction, his true maturity, his true potential for commitment. This situation with the other woman is not simply about another person, it is about what he chooses to do when he is faced with loyalty versus comfort, growth versus familiarity, truth versus habit. He feels love for you, but love alone does not determine destiny. Choices do. Actions do. Character does. And God is watching his choices because those choices reveal whether his heart is ready for you or still tied to a version of himself he no longer belongs to. Inside him, there is a battle. One part of him is drawn to you with a force he cannot explain, a peaceful, deep, magnetic connection that feels like home even though he didn't expect it. That part of him longs for you. It imagines a future with you. It feels safe with you. It feels alive around you. It sees you as someone he could build something meaningful with, something different, something beautiful, something real. But then there is another part, the part that clings to what is familiar, even if familiar is unfulfilling. The part that fears losing something that used to comfort him. The part that returns to old connections because they feel easier, less demanding, less vulnerable. The part that avoids the emotional responsibility that real love requires. And that part is the reason she still appears in his life. Not because he loves her more. Not because she is better. Not because she is his future. But because she represents comfort zones he hasn't healed from yet. God needs you to understand this clearly. You are not competing with her. You are illuminating the truth about him. Your presence exposes what he needs to grow out of. Your energy reveals what he needs to release. Your connection highlights what he must confront within himself. You are not the cause of the confusion, you are the mirror of his transformation. And God is using you to bring things to the surface that he has avoided facing for a long time. He knows you deserve more. He feels it deeply. He knows you are the kind of person who brings light, stability, emotional purity, and spiritual depth. Part of him feels unprepared for that. Part of him wonders whether he can meet the version of himself that you require. That's why he moves toward you and then pulls back. That's why he opens up and then retreats. That's why he shows love but avoids full commitment. He's trying to reconcile who he has been with who he needs to become, and that journey is not easy for him. But here is where God is speaking directly to your heart. You are not responsible for his healing. You are not responsible for his growth. You are not responsible for pulling him out of confusion. You are not responsible for proving your worth to someone who already knows it. What God wants from you in this season is not to chase or persuade, but to stand in the truth of who you are becoming. There is a version of you emerging that cannot be diminished by someone else's indecision. You are stepping into an identity that cannot be touched by another woman's presence. You are rising into a level of worthiness where emotional leftovers or half-available love cannot follow you. God is lifting you into a season where anything less than clarity will fall away, and God is preparing his heart as well, but the question is not whether he loves you, the question is whether he will choose the path that leads to you. Love is not only a feeling. It is a decision, a responsibility, a willingness to close doors that no longer belong open. If he chooses growth, if he chooses honesty, if he chooses commitment, if he chooses to release everything that keeps him emotionally stuck, then God will guide him toward you in a way that nothing and no one could interfere with. But if he chooses comfort, familiarity, or avoidance, God will not force him into your life. God will protect you instead. God will lead you away from anything that endangers your heart. God will pull you towards someone whose love for you is not split, not confused, not compromised by someone from the past. You need to know this. Your heart is too valuable for divided energy. Your soul is too precious for shared affection. Your future is too important for emotional fragments. And God is not going to let you settle for something halfway when He intends to give you something whole. There will come a moment, soon, when His actions will reveal everything. You won't have to guess. You won't have to overthink. You won't have to wonder what He feels or who He wants or where He stands. God is orchestrating clarity. Divine clarity. The kind of clarity that removes every illusion, every doubt, every fear, every confusion. The kind of clarity that lets you see His true intentions without emotional noise. And when that moment comes, your heart will be stronger than it is now. You will see the truth not with pain but with understanding. Not with fear but with wisdom. Not with loss but with alignment. You will realize that God wasn't trying to take anything from you. He was trying to give you the love you truly deserve. You are coming into a moment where God is asking you to look at yourself differently, not through the lens of what this man is doing, not through the lens of what she represents, not through the lens of what you fear losing, but through the lens of who God is shaping you into. You are not standing in this situation by accident. You are not feeling this connection for no reason. You are not observing these signs to confuse you. You are observing them because God is aligning your heart with truth. The truth is that you have outgrown the version of love where you settle for emotional crumbs. You have outgrown the version of yourself who felt grateful for being chosen halfway. You have outgrown the patterns that once made you question your worth. God has taken you through too much to let you shrink back into insecurity now. He has healed you too deeply to let old wounds reopen. He has strengthened your spirit too intentionally to let your heart get trapped in someone else's confusion. This final stage of the situation is not about him and her, it is about you and God. It is about what spirit you stand in. It is about what you refuse to accept anymore. It is about the love you are destined for, the peace you are meant to have, the emotional clarity that is your birthright. God is preparing your heart to receive something that does not require you to fight for your place. Because here is the truth God has been whispering into your spirit, the one who is meant for you will not keep you wondering. He will not keep you waiting in emotional darkness. He will not keep another woman in the frame while he claims to build a future with you. He will not allow divided loyalty, confusion, or past attachments to risk losing you. A man who truly chooses you will remove every distraction on his own. He won't need pressure, reminders, or ultimatums. He will recognize your worth without hesitation, and that is the truth God is about to show you. Whether this man is capable of being that person, you've been feeling like you are standing at the edge of something, like the air around you is shifting, like your spirit is bracing for what comes next. That's because God is bringing a turning point. A moment where everything that has been unclear becomes so clear that you cannot unsee it. A moment where his choices reveal his heart without him saying a word. A moment where emotional shadows break, and truth stands in the light. God is not doing this to hurt you. He is doing this to free you. He is doing this to make sure you never again settle for a love that feels unstable, conditional, or divided. He is doing this to protect the future He has prepared for you, a future where you are cherished, not questioned, chosen, not compared, valued, not second-guessed. There is a love God is preparing for you that will not come with emotional competition. A love that will not make you doubt your place. A love that will not ask you to share someone's heart with the past. A love grounded in maturity, devotion, and clarity. A love that is meant to build, not break you. Whether that love comes through Him, or through someone God will bring into your life, depends entirely on what He chooses now, but you, on the other hand, are being guided into a place of strength where you no longer tie your destiny to someone else's indecision. You are learning to stand tall even when your heart feels vulnerable. You are learning to trust God even when emotions feel complicated. You are learning to listen to your spirit even when your heart wants to hope. You are learning to value peace over passion, truth over fantasy, and alignment over attachment, and because of this growth, you will no longer be someone who waits in confusion. You will no longer be someone who accepts hesitation as love. You will no longer tolerate a place in someone's life that is not fully yours. You are stepping into a version of yourself who knows that God's plan for you does not require competition. You are stepping into a season where anything or anyone that cannot give you the clarity you deserve will naturally fall away. The presence of the other woman has served its purpose, not to intimidate you, not to threaten you, not to silence you, but to reveal everything that needs to be seen. Her presence showed his indecision. Her presence exposed his unfinished emotional business. Her presence illuminated his hesitation. Her presence revealed the gap between what he says and what he chooses. And God allowed it so you would see the truth that was hidden beneath the surface. Now comes the moment where your heart is lifted out of confusion. God is telling you to release the fear of losing Him. Release the fear of being replaced. Release the fear of what she means. Release the fear of where this is going. Because what is meant for you cannot be taken by someone else. What is destined for you cannot be intercepted. What God has chosen for your life will arrive in strength, not uncertainty. You are not walking into a future where you will always wonder, always doubt, always feel second. You are walking into a future where love is clear, secure, mutual, and God-ordained. A love where you are seen, respected, prioritized, and protected. A love where your heart is safe, so whether this man rises into the maturity God is calling him toward or whether God leads you to someone who already carries that readiness, you will not miss what is yours. You will not be delayed. You will not be forgotten. You will not be replaced, God is ending this chapter of confusion so He can begin the chapter of clarity. He is closing the door of emotional uncertainty so He can open the door to the love that aligns with your spirit. What comes next will bring peace. What comes next will bring understanding. What comes next will make you look back and say, "Now I understand why God let me see this." Your heart is being prepared for something real, and nothing that is not real will survive this transition.